ridiculous how this thing just, it was working and then it decided to stop working right before I go on air. Anyway, this is not going to take long because I'm only going to test like one thing that I don't know if I've tested it before. It's sitting here. It's labeled Lev question mark. Pretty sure I haven't tested it. I don't actually know who it came from. I mean, I think I know, but I'm assuming it's Coke that may have Levamisole in it, or at least that's what they suspected. And yeah, so I'm just gonna test this real quick to see what's up with that. So I'm not even really gonna like sit here and try to deal with all the music and all that. I'm just gonna get through this. And also, I don't know, this might be one of my last live streams that I do. I've been doing this for almost 2 years now. And, you know, I average like one viewer each stream, which is like not a big deal. Honestly, like, I know that it's hard to sit here and watch me do this type of shit for an hour, and I like go live when I have time. I mean, it's 7 a.m. right now. You know, I've got other shit to do today. When it's samples that like need ASAP turnaround, like I have to just squeeze it in when I have time. Especially since, you know, some of this stuff I don't get paid to do. And the things I do get paid to do are like, you know, making sure I get accurate results and get it turned around when it needs to be turned around. Takes precedent over me worrying about, you know, putting up a stream, and like fighting with the technology all the time, you know, detracts from really being able to manage doing the testing. I will continue to record testing even if I live stream less or not at all. I will just prioritize it being, you know, just edited down and put on YouTube. My old videos will still be available. I will probably archive a bunch of them that are really old. I will, like, they will be available somewhere, but I'll just archive them off of YouTube so it's not just like, I don't know, a clusterfuck of videos that, you know, I don't know, no one will watch. Maybe I'll just set them to unlisted or something. Not unlisted, but I guess unlisted, private, whatever. Just so it's like a less intimidatingly long list of content. Anyway, I gotta grab my phone that I take pictures with, and then we can get this on the way. Alrighty. I realize I haven't turned on this light, which makes it easier for me to see. It's interesting that now it makes the green screen more visible. I don't understand. What's the lighting situation in here? It's because my apartment gets awful sunlight. And even though the light is on behind me, it's still being weird. I guess I could turn off or turn it down because it's really bright. And it doesn't go lower than that apparently. That's weird. Well, it does. It's just being finicky. See, this is the type of shit that I don't really need to be like fucking around. Why is this remote so garbage? Like, I'm just turning it off. Alright, so taking a photo. And I can use this light. A little smudgy on the lens. But yeah, I mean, since I've had to like edit the last couple of videos, or like a couple of the last few videos, due to just, you know, microphone cutting out, camera cutting out, software crashing, and I'm talking about the streaming stuff, not just the Bruker software. That's inevitable no matter what I'm running. Like, that's on a completely separate computer. But like, you know, if I can just kind of like not worry too much about how things are live and like trying to rush to get things done in an hour. I mean, I still don't want things to take longer than an hour, but at least if it's a little bit more forgiving because I'm not live and I could just edit out all the bloopers and outtakes and whatever, even if it happens to go over an hour, because sometimes I'll just cut off the stream and restart it so that, you know, it's not going over an hour. Then, yeah, I think I could just have a little bit more, I wouldn't necessarily say success. Like, I just think that, you know, people generally do not want to watch this. You know, anything that's longer than like 2 minutes, which would be pretty difficult for me to edit down an hour worth of doing stuff into 2 minutes. You know, basically would just be me giving away the results, which I'm like not that invested in, to be honest. Like, nobody needs to actually know the results, but other than the people that I'm testing it for. Like, I'm not trying, like, most of this stuff like the thing is, most of the stuff, like, it's just a random bag of random powder. So like, there's no real value to somebody whose bag it doesn't belong to. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, oh, here's some random bag of powder from some random unknown source, or a random pill from a random unknown source, and it happens to not be, you know, what they thought it was. Like, how will you distinguish that? You know, how will you know? Like, it's nice to have that in like to know what might be in circulation, but some of the stuff actually isn't in circulation. A lot of this stuff is, like I've mentioned on multiple streams before, they're brought to me by vendors and distributors, so they want to know what it is before they attempt to put it in circulation. So, you know, the whole point of this in these cases is so that y'all don't get this weird shit that I'm finding. You know, as much as possible. Like, I can't control whether or not, you know, they get the results and then decided to put it out there anyway. But most of the time, I would say, like, so far, 100% of the time, it's not been put out there. At least not, you know, not by that person. Maybe someone else got a hold of the same batch and did it, but, you know. Such is the chaos of, hold on, let me type this. White powder. Kind of got like a beady look to it. Let me describe it as that. It's probably just from like sitting around with moisture. Sometimes make things clump up into little balls. But Brady, oh my god. Oh my god. But yeah, such is the nature of just an unregulated drug supply. Hopefully this isn't going to fuck up. Let me actually just, I already clicked the button, but let me just check the libraries real quick. Okay, so it shouldn't fail based on the libraries that are selected. Are there no Kaikion libraries selected right now? That's weird. That's not how that's supposed to be set up. This. Hold on. Oh no, it's that one. I need to get rid. I need to get rid of all these extras. It's starting to be difficult to see what's going on. So it is cocaine. It's very low hit quality. I wonder why that is. Maybe it does have crap in it. Excuse me. Oh, it looks like it wasn't using the file limits. Yeah, that'll do it. It's still lower quality than I've seen in other cases, and I do already see some variations and inconsistencies between the two signals. So let me adjust these curves and then see where things are different, and then I'll also subtract. So it looks like between, what's this, like 1650 and 1500, that's quite a bit of noise. Like noise that is distinctly different from the blue curve, the blue signal, which is cocaine, 90% purity. So there's that. The peaks and valleys just vary in some of the other places, so that's not necessarily a bad sign. But on the back side of this, between like 950 and the end of it, 600. Well, more specifically, between 950 and 750, there's stacking occurring. In a way where it's like, I guess the peaks and valleys are in the same location. However, it's like it's just high. It's higher. It's higher up on this frequency or whatever it's called. Sometimes stacking is an indicator of multiple things together. Meaning what the signal is doing is basically adding signal on top of another signal. So it's just a cumulative signal that happens to have a frequency in the same range as whatever the other thing is. So anyway, let's subtract. I doubt it's I doubt it's a trazepam. That's weird. None of these things that I've ever tested with the benzo strip actually had a benzo in it. It's just, I guess, the signal vaguely looks similar to other things when the hit quality is this low. I do see Levamisole down here, though. It's lower hit quality, which makes it very difficult to identify. I could try to check by eye. So there's like a little bit of matchiness here. The thing is there's no, like right here around 1200, there's no peak at all, which makes it hard to believe that, you know, when there's missing data in places where it should exist, because I'm still looking at the, let me see if I can, let me check, because I took out the signal for cocaine. So let me see. I think the cocaine signal is completely gone. Let me see if it's on this one. I'm going to compare it to cocaine real quick. So let me alphabetize. Nope, it doesn't show up until I subtract. So there's a way to, I always forget how. There are ways to bring in, to basically drag and drop the spectra into another. Actually, I was looking at the wrong thing, so that's my bad. I was trying to match it to cocaine. So, yeah. So it looks like there is that peak that I was talking about at 1500 in the residual spectrum. Everything else, I mean, there's also this kind of near 1200, like it's probably like 1225, 1240. There's a little bit here at 1100. Everything else is just so tiny. Like I have to like exaggerate it to try to see at which point it's like, am I just trying to make it match based off of data, based off of information someone else gave me? But it's more likely to be Levamisole than any of this other junk. So what I'm going to do is, there's not much in this sample, but I will run a benzo strip on it just to prove that it's not there. And then I'll run reagents on it because reagents sometimes will pick up Levamisole. So I'm also going to try the mixture analysis to see if it will pick it up. Sometimes the mixture analysis is actually intelligent. Most of the time it's not. What are all these text messages coming in? Oh, well, this is interesting. Report is finally published. Hey, some good news. And this is about the Kush, the final report from doing the Kush research in Sierra Leone and Guinea-Bissau. I was wondering what was up with the final report. It will be published on Tuesday. Could you resend the Google Doc? Oh, okay, then she found it. Okay, well, I will review that after I get off the stream. And everyone else will get to see it on Tuesday. Oh, shit. Did I fuck this up? Is everything still connected? Looks like it. Alright, cameras and stuff are still operating. Alright, so, what did it say? What the fuck is propylphenidate? Was that like a different type of methylphenidate? Like Ritalin? Internet search. Not that I believe that's in there. I'm just curious. I haven't heard of that. Piperidine-based stimulant drug. Closely related to methylphenidate, but with the methyl ester replaced by propyl. Okay, that doesn't mean anything to me. What does that mean? What does that mean as far as effects? Like scientists, like, what does that mean? Even if it's like speculative effects. When a methyl, ester or whatever, or molecule is replaced by something like a propyl, whatever, it's like incomplete. It didn't, how did I get here? This is not even, I guess I closed it. It's just like, what does that mean? What does that mean? Is it weaker? Is it stronger? Does it change the effects entirely? Like, is it now suddenly psychedelic? Is it, does it render it inactive? Is it more toxic, like neurotoxic? Like, it'd be nice if, they would use more words to describe what the fuck that means. For even if it was, someone with literacy in like biochemistry or something, I think it would just make reading a report a little easier to dissect. When you don't have to like interpret shit. All these other messages I'll respond to later. I need to grab reagents and the testing tray. Alrighty. So interesting now that even though the light isn't on in the background, I think it's because the sun's moving. Yeah, kind of just weird lighting all around. So I'm gonna take what's on here. I'm actually gonna do. Is there enough? I'll use what's in here, and I'm gonna use the most minimal amount I can use. Because the thing is to do any strip testing, I'll have to dissolve it in the water, and I could technically use what's in the water to run tests, but it's just gonna be. I just kind of don't trust. Like it might dissolve. Like it might dissolve the Levamisole or something, you know. And if it does that, I wonder if that will impact the reagent being able to detect it. So I'm going to actually just prioritize. I'm not worried about a benzo because it's unlikely. I think it was just improperly matching it to that. Like most of the time, if there's an active amount of a benzo in anything, it's hard for the spectrometer to pick up because active amounts of benzos are really, really small. So I'm not convinced that, you know, over 5% of this sample contains a benzo. It's more likely to contain Levamisole in this case. Whoops. I'm dropping shit on the table. Still good. It's gonna pick it up, scoop it in. It's gonna be hard to smash this up a bit and spread it around more. So I want it to have as much of this as I can use, because it might be mixed and I don't want to miss it because there's so few morsels of it in there. Alright, cool. So let me actually do this thing. Why is it not working? Interesting. Click the wrong. Okay, I don't know when this thing cut off again. This is getting on my nerves. So anyway, yeah, I don't know. I don't know where it cut off, but I've got 4 wells. Probably won't need all 4 of them, but I think it gives me plenty to work with the reagents. And I don't need to use the Morris because we already know there's cocaine in there. So I'm going to use the Lieberman and the Marquis and Mandolin, I think. So Lieberman, mandolin, and I want the marquee. I don't think anything else would be particularly useful for trying to detect Levamisole. I'll try to... I don't think this is on here anymore. Like, it used to be that Dead Safe put it in here. Let's see, cocaine. Cocaine without amphetamines, lidocaine, or Levamisole. Marquees will turn no reaction or light pink, which is what I've seen. Cocaine with possible amphetamines without lidocaine or Levamisole. Orange on the marquees, which I could just use an amphetamine strip if that's what I thought was there. Cocaine without amphetamines plus Levamisole and or lidocaine will turn more of an orange on Lieberman versus something else. And then possible amphetamines plus Levamisole and or lidocaine would be orange on marquee and dark on Lieberman. Alright, well, that's kind of what I figured. Because it was me who told them that information. So much of what these discoveries were me investigating things. So let's see. I don't need to look at this anymore necessarily, but I'll leave it up. So let's use marquee. It should just be pinkish or no reaction. Most things seem to turn pinkish these days. I don't know why that is, but it's not a big deal. Let me put the blank drop because this marquee is getting a little brown. I keep leaving it out. Okay, looks a little pinkish. Lieberman, let's see if this goes dark. Otherwise, it should only be yellow. A very pale yellow, so it'd be obvious. See, I am seeing some tinges of like orange. Very distinct orange in there. I'm going to try using the the mandolin, which goes orangish for cocaine, and it goes greenish for cocaine, and then I think it goes orangish for Levamisole. It looks like I'm getting a mix of both, if I am remembering that correctly. Let me just check, because it's one or the other. So a mandolin cocaine will give... where is it at? An orangey reaction. So if it's greenish, I think that had Levamisole. I don't know why. Yeah, I think greenish was supposed to be Levamisole. But it's giving me like a weird brownish greenish color. But I would say that the Lieberman is more indicative of the Levamisole presence. I do not believe that it has amphetamines in here. It just looks very potent. Like the orange color looks very potent. But I think it's pink. I will use what's left, or at least some of what's left, to try an amphetamine strip test. And I can do a benzo while it's already soaked in water. But I'm not convinced that there's any amphetamines in coke. Like, people would know the difference. Like, amphetamines are significantly longer lasting, and also, like, considering that we can't even get amphetamines in fake Adderall, like, no one's putting amphetamines in cocaine. No one even has access to amphetamines to put in Adderall. They're putting meth in it. And, like, yes, it's obviously an amphetamine, but, like, definitely no one's putting meth in the cocaine. Not to try to pass, to cut the cocaine, because one, meth burns your nose a lot. I know this because I've snorted meth. most like lots of amphetamines and honestly a lot of things just burn your nose. So if your nose is burning off of something that it usually doesn't burn, like that's typically not a great sign. That means there's definitely something else in it. Um, it's very harsh on the nose, for one, and for two, it would be really obvious that you are way too high for way too long. So like it's just not. It's like Levamisole is much milder and isn't that stimulating on its own, but synergistically is more stimulating with another stimulant. Um, it does have a longer effect than cocaine, but it's like not to the degree of meth or even amphetamine, just pure amphetamine. So, you know, I don't know who it was. I mean, I kind of do. But like someone really swore up and down that there was amphetamines in the cocaine that was a volunteer with that safe, and I guess they kind of gave some legitimacy to that because maybe somebody did it once somewhere, but it's not a pattern. Like that's like a lot of what people presumed to be amphetamines was marquee turning pink when we were used to it not having a reaction. I think the marquee turns pink because the cocaine is a slightly different. There's like a metabolite in there. Maybe it hasn't been washed out, or maybe it's a metabolite that shows up now with the way that cocaine is being made. I don't know. But I'm sure that's what's turning it pink. Not because someone's mixing another drug, especially a really potent, long lasting stimulant drug, into the coke. Um, like there's like no evidence for it other than, anecdotes, which is not evidence, but sometimes some things just can't be proven, and sometimes someone's experience is legitimate, and I don't want to like fully gaslight people, but I also don't want to like have people concerned that this type of shit is something to really worry about, because it doesn't really happen. um, so anywho, I've got an amphetamine strip and I'm grabbing a benzo strip. um, Honestly, both of these should be negative. There's absolutely no reason for these to be positive. It would make no sense. Amphetamines are very difficult to obtain without a prescription, even with a fucking prescription. And then benzos are very difficult to obtain. Like, at least like the benzos that aren't just RCs or analogs, but like I think nitrazepam, I feel like that is a pharmaceutical use. I don't know, I've heard of it a lot, but I don't know if it's approved for a medical use. But I've never heard of nitrazepam otherwise. Like it's not a thing that it gets adulterated into things. So I don't suspect that if there were a benzo in here for any reason, it would be nitrazepam. It would be something like bromazolam or etizolam or fluoroprazolam or whatever the fuck. Anyway, both of these are negative. So, as I suspected. I'm going to run a Lieberman one more time since I have shit on this plate. And also, like, it was sitting there a while before I took a picture, so get a more fresh look at a reaction. It's kind of like concentrating to the left side, which makes it hard to read, but it's there. It's just all floating left for some reason. Anyway, yeah, that's that. I think I know who this belongs to. I don't think it actually matters anymore, because I think they took that batch of Coke and rewashed it. I don't know what will get Levamisole out, but yeah, and I think that this was more or less for educational purposes and not really to report back to anyone at this point. It's just been sitting here, and I'm pretty sure I never tested it. because it was in a weird place. I forget where I found it. I think it was just like off to the side, and it must have come with other samples that were more important. But yeah, that's that. It's a lesson on testing coke for the presence of levamisole or amphetamines or just anything else that's not coke. Getting the coke reaction is easy. There's still some in this well. I'll just demonstrate because why not? Let's see here. Where are my Morris reagents? There's one of them. These colors are not, like, it's color coded, but it's a pretty meaningless color coding system that I can't really remember. I just wish the tops, instead of it being the stickers, it'd be better if it was like, I don't know, something that was at the top, because I still have to pull it all the way out to see the color of the bottle. Oops, of like the sticker around the bottle. All right, so here's A. And actually, I don't think it actually matters which order you put it in. It's just for the sake of the instructions and differentiating them. But I'm pretty sure if you did B then A, it wouldn't make a difference. I've definitely done that with Simon's, and it's all going together at some point in the testing process. So this is not a very punchy blue color like it typically is. I don't know why it looks diluted like this. Maybe because it's mixed. Maybe because there's most likely some levamisole in here. So that could be an indicator that it's mixed, is when it's not super bright. I'm actually going to, I'll test some not contaminated cocaine next to it. Let's see, where is that coke? I think here we go. Let's see if my theory is roughly correct. I don't want to use that much coke on this. It doesn't need to be sacrificed that much. Alright. That should be plenty. That was more than I used to get the first reaction. So, alright. I don't know why I put this back in here. Morris. Is that the second one? Yeah. Alright, A. See, it's already more blue just from the first drop. And then B. Yeah, you could see the difference. Maybe not quite from the camera angle that we have right now, but I'll take a photo. All right. Yeah. That's plenty of demonstration of reagents, strips, cocaine testing in general. I don't think there's anything else to do. I'm gonna clean up. All right, cool. Well, that's that. Peace.